the ZVT once again. I chose this match because, quite frankly, I think both of the players are fantastic players. I've casted both of them multiple times before. Bloop here in the upper left-hand corner is only 16 years old. The Red Terran player representing Team Darkstar. Team Darkstar, an all-Swedish team, and becoming one of the best teams in Sweden very quickly as they pick up a lot of strong talent and young talent as well. Bloop being a fantastic example of that. So young, so talented, and he's got so far to go in his StarCraft career. In the lower right-hand corner, well, this guy, we all know which team this is. This is Team My Insanities. We all know My Insanity for, in fact, My Insanity came home with a victory from DreamHack Summer last year when Stardust was crowned the champion over Jaedong in the finals. My Insanity in the bottom right-hand corner, Nirox. Completely messed up his name there, didn't I? Yeah, I got really confused for a moment because this isn't the My Insanity logo. But I don't know what logo that is, in fact. But it's not the My Insanity logo. And for a minute, I was like, is this Nirox? Have I just completely messed up? But no, it is indeed him. And he's going to be opening up here with a hatch first, followed by a pool and a gas afterwards. So just a very standard opening to open with metabolic boost. Maybe even get some roaches out nice and early on, so that he can get out his some defenses against maybe Hellbats, for example. You know, he doesn't necessarily have to make roaches. He's probably going to pull out 100 for just for metabolic boost. But after that, you know, he's already got that extractor up. So as soon as he feels like he needs that gas, he's going to be able to go straight back in. And what we actually saw earlier was that after 100 gas was mined, we actually saw one worker left in the gas just to stick around and see if they could stick around and start building it up. So we actually have our first Reaper coming in here. It's going to get attacked by these 4 lings, and checking the gas guys here, of course, checking that gas count, very important. Jukes out the lings with the Reaper, and he should be able to get away. He's actually going to get a couple of shots off, and is he going to turn around? He's going to try to go for a little bit more damage here. And he will get one Zergling for his troubles. These things, where are they off to? They're actually heading across the map, and that's not really the way they want to go. That's one way to actually just start dying as a Zergling. But he will not lose any more of these just yet, and the Queen now out will be able to deflect these Reapers a lot more easily than he has been able to do so far. Of course, back at home, Bloop, he's actually just heading straight on into a free CC build here with a single gas, so he's just going to head into his Reactor Hellions and show us the very standard, very economic focused build of the Terran free CC. So, we're going to see a lot of economy coming out of Bloop, and what is Nirox going to do? I mean, he's still mining a little bit of this gas again, as I mentioned. That can always be used just for some defensive roaches against any kind of potential Hellbats, because Hellbats have become so popular lately. But it's never kind of a bad thing to have this gas building up. I mean, it cuts a little bit out of his minerals, but not so much. And in the end, if he doesn't need roaches, he can still just use it to start his 1-1 upgrades, for example. In the chat, we actually have a couple of guys cheering for Nirox. So that's Jovink and Ho 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 Toby, both cheering for Nirox here. So if you guys are cheering for someone, do let us know in the chat. I'd love to know who you guys are cheering for and who you guys want to see win. So do let us know. It's always interesting to see who the chat favourite is, I suppose. As Nirox is just sending a few lings up the right hand side here, maybe looking to launch an attack into the natural as he sees these next 2 Hellions come out of the base. He checks there, he sees it, and look at that. As soon as he sees them Hellions going, boom, 5 lings going to come in here. And this is really nice. This is actually, if he's going to get this mule and the SCV, it pretty much means that the speed has been a hugely worthwhile investment. And in fact, he's almost definitely going to get a couple of SCVs here. And yeah, that should be about it. I mean, one more SCV maybe, depends on the control. Yeah, one more. So that's really nice. And it also actually forces these Hellions to pull back home. So this was a really nice little play by Nirox. It forces Bloop to turn back home. It does some damage. He loses, what, 3 SCVs and a mule, which is at about half of its lifetime left. So that's a pretty big dent to the economy of Bloop early on here. And Nirox just going to take a 3rd base behind this as well. So that's very small attack. 5 single Zerglings, which he needed earlier anyways. Because he needed to deflect the Reaper, he then made them even more useful. And actually really made them worth his while for making. We also have WBF Moranjo cheering for Nirox. So Nirox, definitely the favourite in the chat. Wow, so our Swiss player, Swiss Zerg, is the one that a lot of you guys are wanting to see win here today. And Amok as well, wow, everyone's cheering for Nirox. Man, I feel a little bit bad for Bloop. Where are the Darkstar players? Well, most of them are DreamHack, but come on, guys. No Darkstar fans, really? Well, well, well. Alright, well, we actually do have these Hellions and Reapers coming into the third base, and they're going to see not much here, so he's just going to turn around immediately. Bane and Nest, Lair, both on the way. This seems a bit of a faster Bane and Nest, probably to just deal with any kind of hellback push, maybe. It's not that much faster, but usually the Bane and Nest will just finish just after the Lair, so it's maybe about 20 seconds there. I guess nothing really all too significant. As these Queens continue to actually just chase these Hellions away. And oh dear! Bloop's stuck in the corner. Oh, Nirox, he actually kind of messes up this around there. He's going to take a lot more damage than he really should have. Yeah, no! The drones are coming in and the Hellions are very nearby. Oh my god, this is going to be a massacre. This is going to be a barbecue. A fair few drones already starting to go down. Not that many, in fact, just yet, but a few more will definitely go down before all of these Hellions are cleaned up. And this is one more which will probably go down, and he'll probably keep just two of these Hellions alive. And he will dart away with them. So damage done. 11 workers for 4 Hellions, a couple of Reapers. Oh, now 6 Hellions. You know, I think it's probably more or less okay, because he also, you know, forced a new set of Lings because he killed the first set of Lings as well. So overall, I think fairly good trade for Bloop. I think he'll be pretty happy with that and how that went. These Lings, nice by Nirox, just taking some map control, going to check for when that third base lands for the template, which is going to, in fact, be very soon. And of course, once he sees that third base landing, he's going to be looking to take a fourth base of his own as well. So that's going to land over here in just a few moments' time. We have these Lings all coming down onto the creep right now. And, you know, Nirox is, Bloop is getting into a really nice position. I mean, Stim's finished, he's got +1/+1 on the way. He's got his combat shields on the way. Armory is well timed as well, so he's going to be able to start his 2-2 very easily. And, you know, his macro is good. I feel his macro is going very well. Again, he traded very well earlier in this game. And now that he's got this third base down, he's going to drop the mules. And his economy is now definitely going to start booming as he actually walls off over here as well. So, Bloop just being nice and safe. Looking pretty solid so far, as Nirox is just kind of building up here into the mid game here. I mean, Spire about to complete. I'm pretty sure I just clicked the Spire, but it didn't take me to the Spire. There it is. Spire just completing here, so it's +1 flyer attacks immediately. 6 Mutalisks on the way, so again, he's also got +2/2 on the way as well. So, you know, everything more or less even right now. Both these guys getting into their mid games quite happily. First little push coming out of the Terran player here. These, the 2 medevacs coming along to meet up with this, and these 2 medevacs, of course, will be coming across and just teaming up with these Marines so that they can get out quite easily. And you know, one of the most important things about this little push is just looking to clear up a little bit of creep. If you can push back the creep, keep the Zerg player guessing, that's one of the main things you want to do. And I'm actually surprised Bloop didn't realise this Overlord was overhead here when his medevacs flew past, because that would have been quite an easy pick off for him as well. Of course, no real troubles if he, as long as the Mutas aren't nearby, he will be able to get away with this. And even as long as he's got a boost, he should also be able to get away in his medevacs. Although that being said, he's kind of in the wrong direction. He actually trades. He gets 1 Mutalisk here almost immediately. Now starts to boost, but he actually stops moving for a second, and that was a bit of a mistake by him. He will start to unload up here though, and that will be enough to turn these Mutas away. So he keeps both of those drops alive right now. And yeah, just again, nice play. He snipes an Overlord. He pretty much has the map control right now. And look at his supply, 146 to the 131 of the Zerg player. And I mean, both players are equal on upgrades. This is just fantastic macro out of Bloop, who is just gearing up to continue on. Look, more barracks on the way with his third base. The question is, does he start a fourth base, or does he just continue to produce off of this free base for a long, long time? We see a second factory now on the way up as well. Kind of intrigued as to what we're actually going to see coming out of that. It looks as though he's going to just stick to mines, but there's only 2 out so far. Another Overlord going down, and Nirox is kind of just sitting supply blocked right now. 136 out of 136. Bloop maybe about to hit a supply block too. He has started a 4th CC. So you will hit a supply block here as well, but he's already so far ahead in terms of army. I mean, 101 army supply to 68. And 2-2 about to finish on either side. I mean, this is going to be a pretty big timing coming out of Bloop. He's distracting right now, buying himself time to get across the map. He's got a drop ready to come in from this angle as well. There's a lot of Overlords over here which can be picked off. And at the same time, he's just cleaning out a Queen over here. He can scan, clean out some creep as well, and just start making this map his own and stop the Zerg player from really getting into a position they want to get in. This drop will be intercepted. This was spotted by an Overlord, and that's cleaned up for completely free. And Bloop not really taking advantage of the Mutas being out of position here either, just sitting still. It seems as though he was waiting for the creep to, waiting for a scan to clear up some of this creep. Ooh, we have a spike. And that's the DreamHack internet going a little bit again here. Oh no, Bloop isn't actually splitting here. Now he begins to split. This is a fantastic fight for Niroxs, as he's going to clean up all of these medevacs, and that's of course absolutely huge. One of the main things we want Terran players to keep alive in any fight is the medevacs. They're so much harder to remake than anything else. Coming in here, a lot of mutas actually getting targeted down, but now there's not really enough Marines, so Mine should be able to burrow, and the only problem is this huge amount of banelings, but the reinforcements are here, and Bloop, the supply gap is closed. That wasn't the best fight for him. He lost a couple of drops as well in the build up to that and didn't really gain anything from having them out there. Yes, he moved to the edge of the creep, but he didn't extend past that. He cleaned up about 2 creep tumors, and that was it. And 2 drops is probably not worth that. The idea was good, but he just didn't quite have the full execution of it. He's moving once again here. Going to clean out these rocks, interestingly enough, and now he's just going to take them down. Just making sure the Zerg can't use that against him later. He's going to start taking his own 4th base as well. Even a few of his mines behind. He has got them hotkeyed, it would seem, so not too sure why they're not here with his army right now. And of course, this 4th base here is just a fantastic 4th base to take for a Terran player, because you can just reinforce here. Oh, a few Marines getting caught out, a little down position. But I mean, look at this. The reinforcements are going to rally here, and from here onto the creep is such a short distance. It's really, really, you know, it's kind of like Battleship Vestige, where you could just put your 3rd base in a location where you could almost, like, literally one screen away is the Zerg's 3rd and 4th, usually. So it's the same kind of idea here, as mines are slowly creeping forward. I'm surprised okay, there is an overseer, so he needs to just start cleaning these up a little bit, just make sure they're away before they get reset. But ooh, never mind, hit goes off there. So Niroxs just needs to be a little bit more careful about cleaning up these mines. He's trying to establish a 5th base, while the Terran's got his 4th base morphing into a planetary fortress. In fact, these banelings don't really trade too well up front just yet, and we actually have a drop into the main base. He's actually targeting down the Spire here. He will not get it, but I mean, that is a prime target for later. Unfortunately, if he could have gotten it now, that would have been fantastic, cancelling that +2 flyer attacks. As mutas come in once again. It looks as though Niroxs might go for a bit of a fight here, pulling back a few of his units to allow these mines to do as little damage as possible. Here comes the rest of the Terran though, and mine hits are going pretty well so far, hitting a flock of mutas in the sky. And, well, another Marine taken down here. Scan on the high ground for Bloop, just seeing where his opponent's army is, seeing what he's fighting up into at all times. You know, I'd love to see just kind of some kind of movement over this way, just to pull a Zerg maybe a bit out of position again. He's actually trying to force a cancel on his base. He gets it very low in HP, but it's not quite there. In fact, he should be able to get a few targets now. Baneling's coming forward again, not really trading that well though. And this base goes down, not even a cancel, so good trade swipe by Bloop so far. He's making his opponent waste Banelings, and he's taking down bases as well. He's, doing a really good job. Now Niroxs has a huge bank. In fact, he's got 2.5k minerals. The minerals aren't so important, it's the gas where it really comes into play. And that gas, oh well, let's hold that forward, because a huge little bit of a flank here by Niroxs, and he's going to come in and clean out the majority of this. There's only a few banelings left though, and that means that there's only a few Marines left, and a few banelings too. So these mutas, and I mean pretty much everything was exposed there, but there's enough mutas to actually clean up. And Bloop not taking the best of fights now, and he's actually struggling a little bit in terms of supply, but he's going to keep on pushing forward nonetheless. And I mean, you know, if any matchup we see kind of a supply deficit be overcome, it's usually in TVZ. Quite often we can see a Terran player, he's down 30 supply, he holds on, and the next minute, you know, we're back to max versus max. First time in this game though that Niroxs feels safe enough to actually move over here with his mutalisks. And he's going to get some serious damage done over here, of course. He's going to start picking off a lot of these SCVs. And a few Marines out here as well, just not quite enough to clean this up. Some mutas are going down throughout this, but still it's not quite enough. Bloop is actually taking an opportunity to move forward here. All of the mutas are in position, they're taking down as much as they can, taking down supply depots now as well. But it's actually Bloop who's in a supply lead. Niroxs really needs to spend his money. There's 48 Zerglings, that's kind of what he needs. But again, Zerglings, they're not the best, especially now that the Terran player is about to have +3 attacks already finished, +3 armors pretty much already done. The Zerg stuck on 2-2 because he doesn't have an infestation pit. He's not been able to tech into Hive because of this continued pressure of Bloop, and this is where the Terran can really become very scary, where they're going to be able to take every fight so efficiently. And as you see, I mean, 1 minute ago, 30 supply down, the next minute, 10, 20 supply up. Bloop is playing well here as he goes for the spawn pool. This will get cleaned up by mutalisks as well. He's still teasing on the edge of the creep over here, thinking about it, thinking whether he wants to go forward here or not. Niroxs has a lot of banelings, he's got a lot of Zerglings as well. He's going to look to come in from behind again, and that is very important. But the binds! Oh no! Poor Zerglings. Rest in peace. That's not scary anymore. Lifts up, gets out of there. Most of these Zerglings get cleaned up from behind. Now the Mutas come in to go after these fours. Banelings are connecting on the fours, which isn't really ideal. The last few Marines, though, weren't really split up too well, and that was a little bit painful for Bloop. He didn't really need to take that much damage. That being said, though, there's still too many Marines coming in as reinforcements for these Mutas to do anything, and a few of these Mutas turning around on the attack move, and this is not good at all, because now he's losing Mutas, and one thing he cannot afford is to have to remake Mutas. He needs Banelings, he needs Zerglings. He doesn't want to be remaking expensive Mutalisks, and as you can see, 4 more Mutas coming up in the production tab here. Mutas are looking to take down a base, and I mean, whatever anti-air there is will actually stim over here to just try and get that. Some mines do manage to burrow. Mutas continue to take damage. Mine goes off on a Novus here. Bloop does pull back, so Niroxs is not under attack for a little while, but he's struggling to get off of 4 bases. He's going to try and re-establish this 5th. Once again, Bloop's actually heading over in this direction now. Looks as though he feels maybe there's a base over here, but there is not. And I mean, once he finds this out, he's going to be very, very happy, because you know, if there's no base over there, he knows it's 4 base against 4 base, which is fantastic for him because of how efficiently he's been trading. Bloop getting supply blocked here because of this Mutalisk harassment, but look at this, and moving to the natural here. The Spire is probably about to go down. No +1 carapace for you, and the Baneling nest as well, and that might even be much bigger here. No more Banelings, and that's going to be a huge time, which of course Bloop can look to exploit. Then Banelings getting through though, and getting some good hits on the mines. The Muta's fingering out coming forward here. The Spire is down, having to be remade. Niroxs can't really afford to make a new Baneling nest. I mean, he can afford it, but I mean, again, that's more gas that he needs to actually make stuff with, but he can't actually make anything because he doesn't have these buildings right now, and Bloop is just continuing to march forward. He's taking down a gas geyser, 1 extractor, and, well, I mean, everything's going to continue going down. Queen goes down. This natural expansion is very likely to go down. The new Baneling nest, the new Spire, maybe going to go down as well. Bloop is going to have Marines over here to sort of defend these Mutalisks. SCV is repairing the planetary fortress, and the Mutas will be able to clean this up overall, but I mean, you've got to think, what's more important, that 4th base right now, or losing all of your tech so you can't actually build anything useful anymore? And I think Bloop's wedging himself into this position here where he just won't be able to be beaten, as SCV's 4th base is cleared out by the Mutalisks. I mean, Niroxs still has so much money, but Bloop is just like, well, you don't have any buildings to spend your money on. Pulls the Marines back here, and then Banelings hit the Marauders, and that's not efficient either. And now the 3rd base is going to go down. I don't actually think there's anything left on the ground for Niroxs. 70 Lings and 6 Banelings. I mean, the Zerglings aren't going to achieve anything at all coming in and fighting this army. It's the Banelings he really needs, and that's what he's saving up money for right now. He's got the Baneling nest about to finish. This is the... Oh no, but it's right there! If Bloop just kills that Baneling nest, and in fact he's going to go for it, is it going to go down before it finishes? Yes, it is. No more Banelings once again. Niroxs just cannot get these out, and that's what he really needs to deal with this army. Mutas and Zerglings, they're not going to cut it here. There's not... He needs the splash damage to deal with Bio, and he's not going to have splash damage, and that means he's probably going to lose this first game of this best of 3. There's still a handful of Banelings here. Look at this. Now he's camping his only Baneling nest. I mean, damage more or less already done. Bloop can probably lift up one of these bases and move it over to as a 4th base if you would like. I mean, Niroxs still has money. Just he doesn't have anything to really spend on. He could make, again, he could still make a ton of Banelings, but then he's going to have 1 army and 1 army only. You know, losing these hatcheries really hurts his production as well, as these Mutas start to fly across the map again and again. I mean, well, there's the base coming out here for Bloop. Oh, look at the number of Marines over here. These Mutas need to be careful. Move the command center the other way, as these Marines going to be able to come over here. This is really nice. There's a lot of Marines there, so the Mutas can't really do anything. But that being said, that means that this army is relatively weak over there. You know, that's not the whole of his army, so Niroxs can essentially fight half of the army at the time, and that might be exactly what he needs. You've got to remember as well at this point that the Terran is on 3-3, the Zerg only on 2-2, and it looks as though the Zerg's going to come in. He's going to try and go for this. The splits are going to be pretty darn good, and honestly, there's not really enough here to clean up. There's still Marines left over, and again, the Mutas can take down the rest of this. Well, there's some more Banelings and Zerglings, but a little bit late to the fight there. But these medevacs, they should be able to get another boost in time to escape here. The Mutas are slowly catching up, and a couple of them will probably go down, but the boost should be here in a moment. Well, there's 2 down. Okay, so it is just 2 that go down. But again, look at this back at home for Bloop. A huge amount of units, a huge amount of Marines. And he's about to land this 4th base once again. He's going to be able to start mining over here quite nicely, quite happily. And, well, more Banelings coming in once again. Looks as though Zerg is just going to come forward and go for this. The medevac's been taken down by these Mulists, but the Marines, there's just too many of them. And the Banelings, which are morphing in, they're just going to finish morphing in. Bloop's not going to be able to stop these in time. But he comes forward here and he's going to take down a base, which again limits the production of Nirox. His bank has been spent right now. This Terran army is just way too efficient to fight without any mining at all, and this has been the problem for quite some time now. Bloop, he's only 20 supply ahead. He's actually only 10 army supply ahead, but his army is just so efficient, and again, these mutas are the only real hope Nirox has. He really needs to do major damage with these. But this base, even just being up for the length of half a lifetime of 4 mules, is absolutely huge. He comes in here, he repairs. I just let this die at this point. I mean, is he going to have enough to actually come over and save it eventually? No, I think he's just wasting minerals. I think he'd be better off just getting some more Marines out. Pushing in here, Baneling Nest is down once again. A few Banelings connect, but not enough just yet. More Banelings edging forwards, but again, not really getting any sort of connections that they need. And now drones are going to start going down. This base is almost definitely going to go down as well. I mean, Nirox is retreating, but what's he going to do with these drones? He's only just going to end up long distance mining. Is that really going to do it? Is that really going to cut it here? Few Marines trying to chase these mutas away, which is kind of funny actually. And I mean, these mutas, they can always counterattack. They can always be on the other side of the map. But I mean, what's Nirox got to fall back on now? He can't afford another hatchery, so he's got a long distance mine from the 3rd to the main until he can afford a hatchery. And then he's got to wait for a hatchery to come up before he can get any more mining. I mean, that's just so much time for Bloop to just decide what he wants to do. Gear up, getting himself in the right mindset of how he wants to do this. Picks off the changelings there, and as he moves across, he's going to find himself some overlords as well. And I mean, even killing off overlords is painful. That's well, it may not matter because Nirox doesn't really need all of the supply which he has right now. But I mean, if he kills off enough, Nirox is going to have to spend money on overlords, and that's the last thing he wants to do in this sort of situation. As these Marines, a couple of Marauders, a couple of Fords, coming down and just looking as though they may head towards the main base. Take out everything in the main base and just play it from there. Mutas are going to come once again over towards the 3rd/natural/main of Bloop, and again, there isn't really anything left over here. I mean, there's no units. There's only a few SCVs actually mining gas. So I mean, we're kind of on last armies for both of these players. I mean, I guess this could kind of turn into some kind of base trade, and while there's mutas out, I don't think that's going to go well for the Zerg, and he actually turns around here. The Lair's going to get taken down, picks up those units with a drop. When he needs to scan forward here, he's just looking for this army, and it looks as though this is it. He's going to take the fight. The Banelings come in, but guess what? There is just not enough. And the mutas are going to come in as well, but I mean, again, mutas versus Marines, some 4s. It's not going to matter. GG is called. What a fantastic game. Wow. What a game. Bloop felt like he was in control from minute 0 till the end. It really did. There was no point at which I was looking at that I was like, oh, Bloop's... apart from that one time he took there was a couple of bad fights, I suppose. I guess maybe I'm being okay, that was a bit of a crappy thing to say, because there was points when Nirox was up 40-ish supply. He had some opportunities. He was the player with a bank, and Bloop didn't have a bank. But over time, when it turns into that kind of situation and Nirox couldn't continue mining, and Bloop has 3-3, the Zerg has 2-2, it all starts to just add up, and it gets to this point where we get what we got, which is Bloop just, in the end, just having too much for Nirox to be able to ever really contend with. And I mean, this game could have actually been very different if Nirox dropped the Baneling Nest at his 4th base originally, because the Baneling Nest got killed twice when it was trying to be rebuilt. And that was the difference between a couple of those fights there. If he could have had Banelings much faster, that would have been so much better. So even just the positioning of the Baneling Nest was, when it was rebuilt, may have just cost Nirox the game there. It was actually very close throughout, even though the Terran was kind of dictating, I'm attacking you now, I'm attacking you here, you've got to defend me here, until kind of when the mutas kind of gave up and did go and counterattack a little bit. Game number 2 is going to be on Frost, guys, and if game number 1 was anything to go by, this is going to be an even sicker macro game. Wow. The official DreamHack stream starts in, I believe, 4 hours, which would be... no, maybe 3 hours. I think it's 5:30 p.m. CST for the pre-show, and then 6 p.m. CST for the group stage 2, and that is in 3.5 hours when games will start for group stage 2. So hopefully that is a decent answer for you. Just taking a moment here before we jump on into our game. Okay, so we're heading into game number 2, guys. It's on Frost. Let me just set up the scoreboard and we will bring this up for you. GG says A74 Core and Danny Duracell. It was such a good game, and hopefully game number 2 here on Frost is going to be just more of the same. And we're in cross positions. Oh, how fantastic. If you love TVZ, well, I mean, what more could you actually hope for right now than this? Like truly. I mean, these guys just showed us a fantastic TVZ, and it looks as though we're just about to get more of the same. Ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce our players. In the upper left-hand corner, representing Team Darkstar. I said that wrong. Team Darkstar. Taking map number 1 in 33 minutes of tense battles. Red Terran player Bloop. Only 16 years old. If I could play this game like he does at 16, if I went to LAN when I was 16, I would have been over the moon. I would have been in heaven. Back then, I didn't even realize those kind of things existed. Crazy. In the lower right-hand corner, this time, yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure that must have been a bug on his decal, because now it is all fixed, and that is definitely the My Insanity logo. For My Insanity, the orange Zerg player, Nirox. Opening hatch first, into pool once again. Let's see if he's going to play gasless on this larger map, or whether he's just going to take a singular gas here. We'll be finding that out. Okay, so he's just going to take a single gas here. So just going to open the same way, just be safe against any kind of Reapers. And is Reapers coming out of Blue, who is just going to scout with his Reapers as well. You know, he's in no rush to actually find out where his opponent is and to get across the map. He's just going to save his SCVs at home and go scouting with his Reapers. So Reaper's going to go off on a bit of a scout here in a couple of moments. And yeah, well, guess we'll just follow the Reaper around the map. Overlord's already finding out why his opponent is not. As Bloop's actually okay, so he is actually going to send an SCV out, which is interesting. I think, I guess this is because he wants to be able to see it fast enough so that if his Reaper gets up here and then he comes here next, but his opponent's actually over here, he wants it to be in time so that he can get in and still check the gas before Queens come out, which he's just about going to be able to do with this Reaper, I think. It's going to be very close, but in fact, I guess Queens will be out before the Reaper gets there, but he still should be able to pop in, check, and get out in plenty of time. So, how's everyone in the chat doing, guys? We've got a bit of a slow start here as this Reaper just harasses these Zerglings. You know, there's nothing really extraordinary going to be happening in the next few moments, at least. So, how's everyone doing? How are you all? These Reapers just poke in the front again, not really going to achieve too much though, and again, nothing significant really happening right now, just Nirox with his Medbug boost on the way and going into his, just keeping one work on gas, just the same as the last game. We've seen some great games so far, and I think that last game we just saw between Bloop and Nirox is probably one of our best games yet we've seen on this stream at least. Of course, not being able to really watch the games on other streams, but damn. That was a goddamn good game. And again, really got my hopes up for game number 2 now. As Bloop, exact same opening, third CC coming down. He's got the Hellions on the way and the Tech Lab coming down the barracks to start up his Stim Pack. So again, just very standard Terran player, very standard Zerg player as well. He's probably going to look to get a third base down and running in a few moments' time. Hello, Loyo, or Yo-Yo, depending on whether that's an L or an I at the front of your name. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Reaper's just heading back home right now. He knows he did check speed was okay. He didn't actually get in the main base to check. He didn't get in the main base to check the gas, but he was able to. He wasn't able to get in the main base to check the gas, but he can pretty much just assume if gas was taken, he has to fall back at this time. so that his Reapers don't get caught by Speedlings. Just being nice and safe, and now he's teamed up with his Hellions, and the Reaper Hellion kind of tag team. Going to move across the map next, and going to move over here, and look at this, actually just really nice, kind of knowing that his opponent last time. Oh, perfect. Blocks the Ling, but kind of sees everything he needs to see anyway. Kind of just sticking around a little bit longer, waiting for these Lings to run by as they did last game. And it's going to pay off for him. He shuts that down without too much of an issue. He doesn't lose his mule, doesn't lose his SCVs this time. Overlord spread starting up here from Niroxs. Of course, he's just going to want to watch for kind of Hellions and Reapers, see where they're going or coming from in the next, for a little while here. He'll probably want to move those Overlords back a little bit or spread them out even further before any kind of real push comes, because of course, you know, Overlord plus Marine equal dead Overlord. Basic algebra. As, yeah, just, again, just Hellions moving around. Again, there's not really too much to say right now. I mean, both of these guys are opening very standard here for the second game in a row. We've got 1-1 on the way for both players. Stimpak's about to finish for our Terran. You know, he can pretty much move and take this third base now if he wants to, I feel, because he's got this map control for these Hellions. I mean, Bane and Ness is coming up again a little bit late. He'd actually be in a bit of trouble if any... I guess... Okay, he'd be in trouble if any Hellbat play was coming, but he knows it's not Hellbat play because he saw this third CC with his Ling Scout. So, that helps him save, you know, a little bit here. He realized he didn't need his Bane and Ness quite as soon. Ooh, Bloop isn't paying attention. He gets surrounded, and that is huge. He's going to lose all of his Hellions here, and that's a big, big mistake by Bloop. You know, trading off, and that's nowhere near as good of a trade as he got last game for his Hellions, and losing them now means that actually he can't take that third base as quickly as he maybe would have liked to. He has to kind of stick around a little bit longer. He has to just stick around and say, right, well, I've got to actually build up a Marine count now before I can move over and take my third base. And that's, you know, that's not so great. Yeah, that really does delay his third base landing here, and, you know, he's going to pick it up now and move it across, but again, he could have already really had that moving out, and even now, I mean, I guess by the time it lands, it's going to be about another 10 Marines out. Factory going to swap over the with the Starport. We're going to see the first two Medivacs come now. It's going to be a very similar push from Bloop once again, pretty much as his 1-1 finishes on his combat shields, moves out with 2 Medivacs. Of course, that main idea being just to clean out some of the map control of the Zerg, maybe clean out these Overlords, and probably push across the map, take the towers, and just tiptoe on the edge of the creep, try and clear out a couple of active tumors maybe, and take away a bit of that map vision of the Zerg. Wall, bunker, coming up, very standard stuff for a 10 player on this map, just very standard positions so that everything is just nice and safe. And we've got this Terran army just all kind of grouping up, and again, these first 2 Medivacs popping out, and this should be the kind of time for Bloop to maybe move across the map a little bit. Actually kind of intrigued he hasn't started moving across with the Marine Marauder already. He could have already cleared up this tower and kind of been kind of in this location, and had the Medivacs boost across to meet him, but just waiting for them to arrive before he actually does move. 2-2 starts on either side as well, and Mutalisks, Banelings, the Zerglings just all starting to pour out for the Zerg player, who is up on 70 workers right now, so he's in a nice little position. There's that kind of tower being cleared out, and this is kind of a tiptoe on the edge of the creep period. Maybe throws down a scan, or may not, may just try and get active tumors, and again, just clean out wherever he can, pulls the Marines back, leaves some Marauders in the front. And again, just going to look to tiptoe on the edge of the creep, and there's a scan. He's going to look for a couple of tumors here. Guess the active ones, and of course that's the major thing. And again, there isn't really much point of him being here anymore. You know, there's at this point where the Zerg players had plenty of time to have made enough units to clean this up with ease, and a very smart time for Bloop to just fall back here. A bit supply blocked. So, you know, hurting him just a little bit here, but Niroxs also supply blocked too, so both these guys just a couple of macro mistakes, but nothing too major. As we're going to start seeing just what is probably going to be, once again, a never-ending kind of push from the Terran. I mean, he's already gearing up for it. Barracks being added on, the factory being added on, he starts to get his drops going. Really disappointing he didn't actually clear out this tower, though. I think that's he's going to do it now, but of course this drop's already been spotted if Niroxs was paying attention to his mini-map, which he should have been. I mean, that's quite a lengthy period of time. But look at this, that was a big mistake, coming in there with the Mutalisks. How many did he lose? 1 or 2? Just the 1, but I think very fortunate to only lose the 1 as he comes in, tries to fight a bunker and a turret. You know, this is very well defended here, and there's really nothing to that this number of mutas can penetrate this third base with. You know, more mutas, sure, that's a completely different story, but for now, third base is kind of off limits, and these mutas are going to have to just stick back at home and prevent from any kind of push like this one which is coming out. And oh, look at this, he's actually going to move forward. He's going to go off with creep, and oh, big mine hit to start things off here. Bloop continues to retreat though, and I'm not sure if he can turn. I think, yeah, he can start to turn around and fight the Zerglings and the mutas maybe, but this is what he wants to get to, his reinforcements and his mines. And that is where he gets to in the end. And Nirox very smartly again, just both of these guys are very smart in terms of not overcommitting at any point. You know, Bloop, he pushed onto the edge of the creep, scanned, he knew when he'd outstayed his welcome, he went back home. There, he was maybe a bit far forward, he did have to stem quite a way back. But again, in Nirox, once he got to the town base, he was like, right, okay, now's my time to pull back. He's got his reinforcements here, I can't fight this straight up. So, pretty nice. This dropship, we actually haven't seen it do too much just yet. It's just moving around the right-hand side, and a big chunk of army coming over here for Nirox to try and clean this out. And guess who's going to take advantage of that? Well, it is going to be our Terran player, Bloop. Going to push onto the creep a little bit more here. No scan, just wants to go out, try and get a little bit of economic damage done here, but Bane's will connect, and there's a bit of overcommit. I keep using that word, but he, you know, I think he sent a bit too much over there, and again, it's on creep. Wasn't really ever destined to do much damage. Fifth base trying to be established for Nirox, and the thing about Frost is 4 bases are actually very easy to take, but the 5th base is much harder. So I'd really like to see Bloop make sure that he's scouting around for this. I mean, he's got a medevac here, whether that's intentional or not. But hold that thought, we've got a battle coming in, and this is not good for Bloop at all. He's getting cleaned out right now, getting kind of surrounded from a couple of different angles. And where is his army? He's got absolutely nothing over here. And well, I mean, Nirox's been very respectful maybe. The link's coming forward, that's going to be some big mine hits. But Nirox continuing to come forward, another mine's going to burrow here. And we're going to see this Terran Army continue to try and trade. With Banelings are going to come in towards this third base as well. Muta's coming in, targeting these cooldown supplies. Taking down the bunker, and now this third base actually will be penetrated, but you know, despite killing all of this, it's actually Bloop who comes out ahead in supply. But Nirox has a big bank behind him, 2.8k, 1k, and he's doing something which I feel like he was really missing in game number 1. He's getting into this infestation pit. This infestation pit is going to be his way of taking into Hive and getting his own free in the future. You know, it's not immediate, it's going to take quite some time, but at least he's taking steps towards that, whereas in game number 2, it was really kind of never going to actually happen. That, you know, it was realistically never actually going to a situation where that was going to occur. Oof, I thought got a good shot on their mutas there as well. They're getting very damaged, and they do have to back off. They'll be back healthy again in a minute or so, but this buys a little bit of time. I feel a little bit safer about his base not being attacked by things with flappy wings. Interestingly, a completely different playstyle from Bloop on this time around. We've actually seen this base get cancelled. I'm sorry, I completely missed that. But Bloop's not got a 4th base on the way until just now, so this is much later than the last game. Now you will be able to pick off this base over here. Oh my god, the mines! The mines! Kind of don't do as much as I thought they would. This army needs to start coming in and fighting. The Banelings are going to start coming in. It's going to be off of creep, which is pretty good for Bloop, as his splits are going to be pretty insane. And look at this, Zing's coming in from behind, but Mews are trading against Marines, and it's not really been the best trade, but he does clean it up. And he does have units left over, which is the most important thing. It's actually Nirox who comes out with a 60 supply lead at this point. And now he probably even takes this momentum and keeps going forward. In fact, he's a little bit scared of what's at the watchtower there. Of course, he doesn't know exactly what is over here, and you know, kind of, you know, past this point here, he has no idea how much army is hiding back here, so he has to be very cautious about moving forward, and he has to be really sure when he decides to in fact move forward and go for an attack. Interesting to send 2 medevacs boosting over towards the 3rd base here. Mew's come in once again. They're going to take down these toasts. They're probably going to get this bunker as well without too much of an issue. And again, this is just nice trading these mutas, just doing some damage. Why not? Gets one of them medevacs too, and a few SCVs. And this is good damage being done. Gets the refinery as well, and maybe even a couple more supply depots. I mean, Bloop, this game has actually just been torn apart from you know, left, right, and center. Really kind of struggling. And again, Nirox clearly feels a lot more confident in this game. His Hive is already on the way, almost completed now, and he's going to be heading into that free of his own very soon as well. As Bloop about to take a 4th base. And Niroxs just going to double expand. I mean, he's going to say, if you kill this expansion, it's cool, I've got this one down here. If you kill this one down here, it's cool, I've got this one up here. If you kill both, then damn it, I've probably done something a little bit wrong to let you kill both of my expansions with drops or whatever. As a medevac's going to go down here as well. Brilliant little snipe there. And this is the power of the mutas. They're so mobile. They can move around so quickly. They can jump in, kill a medevac, get out. Jump in, kill a depot, get out. You know, they can just keep doing this little bit of damage. As long as they don't have to focus on the Zerg player, on the Terran player being on his own side, being on the Zerg side of the map. These SCVs couldn't start mining over here. A little bit of a run by, looked as though delayed that for a little while. 5th and 6th bases are now pretty much finishing up here, and Bloop has no real intention of killing those right now. He's moving directly down the middle of the map as these mutas clean up some supply depots. Now, Niroxsvs does see this, and is he going to move forward here? Well, maybe he is, but this initial trade isn't so great for him. He's going to lose a lot of supply here for not really achieving too much. But his mutas turn around now. He's supply blocked Bloop with killing off more of these depots. And he's very likely... What's over here? A couple of Baners running in over here getting some SCVs. And, yeah, I mean, Niroxs, he's got his mutas back in time so that he can take on this army no problem. I mean, look at his bang, 2.6k, 1.2k, his free freeze on the way this game, so again, a big difference from that first game. And Bloop is really in trouble, and oh no, he lifts up into a medevac some of his units just as the whole army of Niroxs comes in. He's going to get these fours very easily, and he's just going to keep on chasing, because why not? He sees this army, he knows he's much stronger than this army, and he is going to look to take this army down. He's not actually too scared of reinforcements anymore, because he knows he's in overwhelming numbers here, and he's going to keep on moving forward. Medevacs are going to start going down, Baners continue moving forward too. Not really trading the best as they could be, but the damage really done there by the Mutalists, which have picked off medevacs, and they're going to pick off some SCVs over here as well before just getting out, and that's a lot of Mutalisks, of course, in the sky. 28 in total as they move away just a moment. Looks as though a couple of Lings are here. This base is actually still under attack. Wow, there was Marines in the bunker there, which saved it. Mules being used to repair me is not really the ideal situation. Hey, I've got these things which give me a crap ton of minerals. Better use them to repair. Not really what Bloop really wants to be doing right now. And again, the Zerg player, I mean, he's just got so much still. He's still maxed. He's still got a decent bank. And next time a fight happens, it's not going to be in terms of... It won't have an upgrade advantage for the Terran player. It's going to be even upgrades. And that's also a very scary thing to consider here. Even chitinous plating on the way. Have we got any Ultras out already? I don't believe so. But again, I mean, Ultras are just going to be a nail in the coffin as well, because there's a very few Marauders here right now, but I mean, he may not even need Ultras as he comes in once again, comes crashing forward. Mine's going to get cleaned out. These medevacs on very low HP, and they don't have boost anymore, which means these Mutalists are going to chase them down very easily, and they're all going to go down, and this is probably going to cause Bloop to tap on out of this game. Losing your medevacs like this, it's never good at all. And now Niroxs is just going to continue streaming on forwards. Morphs in more Balins. He's going to head straight towards this 4th base. A drop down here for Bloop will kill this base. Niroxs says, cool, I've got a base up here. I'm not too bothered. I've got an army big enough already. And maybe a little bit overzealous, crashing Balins into the plummetry when it's going to die to the mutas anyway, but comes forward. Oof. Oh! Mine hits! Oh! The mine hits! Beautiful, but not enough. Beautiful, maybe a bit disgusting, maybe a bit dirty, but it doesn't matter. Niroxs is going to move on through, and GG called. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call having a series on our hands. This is ridiculous. What a series so far. 2 games, both over 25 minutes long. Wow. Well, game number 3 is going to be starting up here in the fairly near future, I would assume. And we're going to jump straight on into that when we can. Way big cheer for everyone in the chat, of course, because a lot of you guys are supporting Niroxs. So a big cheer for you guys, because your man is pulling this back. Merry-go-round for map number 3. Well, this is yeah, this is definitely interesting, I think, for map number 3. I like this. I really like this. You know, we saw Frost, we've seen King Sage on station. You know what? We still haven't seen Overgrowth. Where is it? Where's Overgrowth? You know, I've watched so much WCS these past couple of weeks, and it's been like, hey, guess what? We're starting on Overgrowth. Game number 2's on Frost. Who would have thought? But this is really refreshing, and now we're going to see game number 3 on Merry-Go-Round, a map we have seen a couple of times already today in ZVT. If you guys were here for Sandshrew versus Elroy, we saw 2 maps on Merry-Go-Round as they played each other twice. Alright, well, we're just going to go straight on into this game. In the chat, what people say in the chat? Nice games from Amok, Totem Flutch, great game. God damn it, man. Yes, it was. That you know what? That deserves the title of great game. It really, really does. Okay, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We have myself on the overlay still, so I don't know why I'm starting to introduce. That's one of them moments where if I was in the past and I didn't have dual monitors, I probably would have started casting this game with the overlay on, and you all would have laughed at me and told me I was an idiot. That has happened so much in the past, but it doesn't happen when you've got dual monitors because you can see what you can see. I can see what you guys see, just slightly earlier than you guys get to see it. And it's brilliant. All right, ladies and gents, in the upper left-hand corner, he won game 1. You know, fantastic game. Showed great decision making, great engagements. A couple of little scary moments, but in general, it was good. Lost game 2 because really he was. I think he got a bit too. He got a bit too cocky. I think he did. I think a couple of times he was out, and then all of a sudden the Zerg came from all sides, and he really wasn't quite ready for it. The lower right. I always say lower right, when really it's not really lower right, is it? Because in the lower right we've just got somewhere we can't even go because there's this stupid barrier around the map. Oh wow, there's minerals over here. Wow. If Merry-Go-Round ever gets mined out, there's actually minerals over here. They look like minerals. Just have to find a way to penetrate this this wall. I wonder what else is in here. There's some more minerals. Wow. in the lower side of the map, the orange Zerg player representing my insanity, pulling it back in game number 2. Can he take game number 3 as well? Niroxs, the chat's favourite. Guys, let's see some cheers for these players. Let's hear it once again. If you support Niroxs, let's get Niroxs going in the chat. If you're supporting Bloop, let's see some Bloops in the chat. Let's see if any more Bloop fans have turned up since our first series. Since our first game. The first time I asked you guys that. Because Niroxs fans outnumbered Bloop fans by about 10-0 or something. It wasn't quite 10. Maybe 7 or 6. 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. I was 6 afraid of 7. 7, 8, 9. Running Gym Band, go Niroxs, Switzerland, go, Jesper, go Bloop. Niroxs from WF Miranjo again. We have a Reaper coming around, guys. This once again just a very standard opening from both of these guys. Really not too much different that we've seen than what we've seen already. Although Niroxs is staying in gas, so that is a little bit different. Maybe he has a little bit of a plan here for game number 3. Everybody do the bloops as Clan SC2 improve. And, well, second Reaper is here, and there it is, Rotron. So that's what he kept Mine Gas for here. He's going to go for a very quick Roach Bling attack. Jade here from Mine Sandy as well, supporting Niroxs in the chat. And, yeah, we've got an attack on the way now. Bloop isn't going to jump in with his Reapers. I don't think he's going to spot this, so this is going to come down to some very crazy control from Bloop. He's, oh wow. Oh wow, he's going for a gas and a starport. This is huge. This is really huge. These Reapers, I guess they probably still don't spot anything because Zergenspeed is about to finish. They got to go back home. But yeah, this is huge. I mean, he's going for something different. And if he gets a Banshee out, a Banshee is such a good counter to something like a Roach Ling attack. Because, guess what? I've probably said this before today. Roaches and Lings, they don't hit up. I think actually before I was talking about Marauders that can't hit up. You know, once I said, I can't remember what it was, but I was talking about, what was it? I think it was some game, and there was an Overlord, and someone sent a Marauder over to kill this Overlord, or he sent a Marauder under this Overlord, and it looked as though he'd sent it to kill it. I was like, well, it's a shame Marauders aren't the answer to the Overlord, but then I was like, imagine a Marauder could like do some kind of crazy halo jump and fire their grenade beneath them, blast up in the air so they're level with the Overlord, and then just blast it. Not good by Bloop here. He loses his first Hellion. And these roaches are now spotted, and there's actually already Lings in the natural. This is a what some would probably call a disaster, because these SCVs are not going to be mining. The mules are pretty much essentially dead because they're not going to do anything else useful in this game. Roaches are coming up this ramp, and guess what? There is absolutely nothing apart from a single Banshee about to come out here, but supply block means they're only going to see this one Banshee and nothing else. And I'm not sure this Banshee can clean up everything before all the SCVs die. And there's no third CC as well, so it's not going to be easy for the Terran player to kind of come back from this. Roaches are going to crush through these Hellions and these SCVs being pulled as well. Going to try and get us around. He needs to be careful, I think. The SCVs not actually coming to fight. I thought they might have gone for the surround on the Roaches, but they're going to get chased down by Lings now, and I think he may have been better just to try and fight and clean up the main base. Roach is still cleaning up everything in here. I mean, there's no real answer. I mean, the Banshee can now cloak, because cloak is finished. Where's the Banshee gone? Oh, over here. It can now cloak because that doesn't really make much difference over here. And Bloop's in trouble. All of his SCVs have been hunted down. He's got 3 SCVs remaining. One's over here. Oh no, that's a Marine. God damn, that Marine's scared. That Marine should get fired. You know, the Marine, like, I'm not being funny, but this is one of the most important times to be fighting for your race, and he's just sat there hidden behind this wall. Look at that, you can't even see him. Poor Marine. Sorry, I should maybe take this a little bit more seriously, but I think it's pretty fair to say the game is over. We're on 58 supply to 11. I mean, another mule's going to go down here. A couple more mules just got dropped, but there's a second Banshee now, but I mean, again, this should be game over. I mean, more mules going to go down. This Marine goes down. Is this Marine still over? Oh, the Marine got killed, but he got what he deserved. This orbital command is maybe even going to just die. There's actually no more SCVs. Bloop can't actually make... Okay, he's making 1 SCV. He's going to lose his natural, though. There's no way he can capture this. The factory is on fire, too. The barracks is kind of just smoking. I think the SCV, which just popped, died, and now Bloop actually... Okay, he can still make 1... I think he cancelled it, so he didn't get killed. But, I mean, does it matter? Let's actually go back over here. There's actually a lair finish. There's actually a Spire coming down and a 3rd base. Wow. Poor Bloop, man. He played the game of his life in Game 1. Was a bit off in Game 2. In Game 3, didn't even get to really try. And this, unfortunately, is more than likely going to be GG. Ling's running off, but I mean, okay, they're going to run over here and find a mule and a couple of SCVs to kill. And these Banshees are going to come over here and be like, yeah, free 3rd base! Yeah! They're actually going to kill... Bloop's actually going to kill something in this game. Well, a bit apart from the massive roaches and stuff he's already killed, but... He's going to kill the 3rd base, but at the same time, I mean, now his barracks is on fire. Now he's had to lift his main CC, the Lings dance, and Bloop is really outstaying his welcome here. Again, he's just kind of hoping these Banshees can somehow win. But, yeah. Yeah, it's I think unrealistic is not quite the word for it. 3 Banshee hits squad, says Run on Jim the Batten. Yeah, this is actually gonna kill the Spire, but 10 meters are already on the way, and again we're just waiting for the GG right now. Not as great a game as Game 1 and 2, but fantastic series nonetheless. Mind Sanity's Nirox will move into the winners match here, which is probably going to be casted by Base Trade TV. I believe they're casting the Little Cannon game, so if Little Cannon won his match, then he'll probably be being streamed over there. Nirox, ladies and gentlemen, moves on through into the winners match of Group